Hello, Safari Mack fans. Welcome back to today's episode of Conservation Conversation, where I'm Safari Mack, your guide and host, helping you make connections to the wild. If you recall from last week's beginning episode, you will remember how I said this series will be mostly about whether it's a replanting of a native habitat that was maybe wiped out due to human activity, the growing of artificial reefs or anything like that, as well as reintroducing species that were long extinct in an area where they once lived. Today's episode focuses on that third topic. Today we focus on the cheetah in Asia. Now I know what you're probably thinking. What's going on here? Allow me to explain with history. Now, believe it or not, there are actually said to be two kinds of cheetahs. The African cheetah, which we are most familiar with today, and then the Asiatic cheetah. This species was once commonly found throughout much of the Middle East as well as into India, where Indian princes or royalty, also called Rajas, would use these creatures to hunt game, such as black buck, chital, spotted deer, and the list goes on, for royalty only. How they did this was very similar to how falconers do their craft and their ancient tradition today. They would keep a cheetah blindfolded, and then when they got to a field where there was plenty of prey, they would remove the blindfold and let them run at full speed, bringing down prey. Now, this was a very famous tradition, and this continued for a long time. Unfortunately, though, the very last Asiatic cheetahs were unfortunately killed in 1947, and then by 1952 or 53, the species was declared extinct from India. And what makes that very sad is that India really is home to many different cats. This includes the Asiatic lion, the Bengal tiger, and the Indian leopard. So to think that once a member of the little cat family also thrived here. So 4 cats coexisting in a habitat, one being wiped out until today. Now, originally, people might think, why not try and move some Asiatic cheetahs over to India to repopulate? Unfortunately, the Asiatic cheetah is considered to be critically endangered with only 12 individuals left. 3 females, 9 males. So you can imagine the genetic diversity that there might be. It really is no good. So instead, what the Indian government has done is they've worked with African governments in Namibia and South Africa in bringing 12 from South Africa and 8 from Namibia over to this area in the Madhya Pradesh, a place called Kuno National Park, where since earlier this year they have been under the care and constant observation and supervision to make sure that these cats easily settle into their new surroundings. And let me tell you, so far, there has been some successes as well as some setbacks. Currently, a number of cheetahs have unfortunately died due to either from illness, from an ailment, or from a natural cause of nature. Thankfully, not at the hands of humans. But there have been some good calls too. For example, shortly after the first cheetah died, a female had given birth to 4 cubs. This was a really historical moment because cheetahs had not been on the Indian continent in over 70 years, and to have some be released and then have a birth take place not too long after the first cheetah died, that's pretty incredible. A real cheetah birth in an area where they were once exterminated. And yet they continue to thrive, and they're still doing okay. There have been some instances where some have kind of gotten out of the national park, but they've been able to get back, and they have been doing very well in hunting natural prey. But the news just gets better. Apparently, Saudi Arabia was also where Asiatic cheetahs once lived, but are not found anymore. So now, because the cheetahs are proving to be pretty good hunters in India in Kuno National Park, not only are there plans to eventually place them in different parts of India where it would be suitable habitat and plenty of prey for them to hunt, they're also planning to send some over to Saudi Arabia to, in a way, reinitiate their circle of life. But now, where in India will they go next? Who knows? For more information, be sure to stay tuned to Safari Mack's Conservation Conversation for more updates, as I will give out more as the time permits. Thank you for joining me for today's Conservation Conversation. Be sure to join me next Saturday for part 2 of the African elephant, as well as our next topic on Conservation Conversation. What will it be? Stay tuned. Until then, this is Safari Mack. I'll see you all out there.